Happy birthday, my beautiful Jimmies. How are you, my gorgeous ones? So, this month is all about the balance between slowing down, recharging, and staying focused. So, welcome, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cindy. I am the modern day spiritual advisor. I use multiple modalities, including tarot, astrology, all kinds of stuff to help you on your path. So, my gorgeous ones, this is going to be your astrology and tarot for June 2018. And many of you have birthdays starting already. Mine will be in a week. So, happy birthday, everyone, all you Jimmies. It is, it's funny because during this time, you'll see a lot more people happier, going out, being more sociable, and it's because it's got that Gemini energy. So go with it. Have some fun. Enjoy yourselves. A lot of you have been working really, really hard. So let's talk about the astrology first. This is June 1st, so June 1st through June 4th. And again, I'm only going to go over the highlights. I'm not going to go in depth. I'm going to have an extended video on my website. You can either purchase just the tarot part of it, which will be like I use 6 decks and I go into several areas and we do a lot of like spreads for that, or you can do the astrology part where I go into the houses and the aspects and all that kind of stuff and what's going to be activated for you, or you can bundle them up and do both. So and I'll have that either up here in the corner or at the end of the video or in the description box below. Okay, so you can go to yourindigopath2.com for any of that. So Jimmy's, you have from the 1st through the 4th, and it kind of starts before then. You have this grand water trine. And so Venus is in your second house right now. So money, love, luck, and money, right? Venus is about love, luck, and money. And then Jupiter is in your 6th house. So this is about your growth. The 6th house is the opposite of the 12th house. So you can think of the 6th house as the, they call it your daily routine, your health and well-being. But it's like where you make the conscious changes to the world around you, to your everyday life. This is where you can actually consciously make those changes, right? And so Jupiter's been in there with Scorpio. You've been going deep. You've been heading it correctly, like you're doing it right. You're trying to figure out how you want your life, what you're doing the work. And then in your 10th house, you have Neptune. So this is a grand water trine. So the grand water trines are about divinely guided gifts being brought to you that's supposed to be on your path. It comes in very different ways with very many people, and depending on your specific chart, you could have some squares going on, you can have some inconjuncts going on, you can have some T-squares going on. Like, it can show up very differently. I wouldn't know until I went into your chart. So we've got that going on. We had Uranus move into Taurus. This is in your 12th house. So again, it's the opposite of your 6th house. This is where you have your past, present, and future lives. This is the connection to other dimensions, spirit, your higher self. But you can also think of it as your subconscious, or the things that this is a house of completion, so things can come through. This is where you consciously don't. This is your subconscious. So here you consciously can make the changes to your life. Here, these things just happen, right? And then you get to choose. You have free will. So you have the grand trine here. This is a water grand trine, which means there's going to be a gift being brought to you. It'll be felt on an emotional level. So whatever that is needed on your path for you, right? So the emotion can be very different for people. Maybe it's surprise, maybe it's shock, maybe it's bliss, maybe it's passion, maybe it's happiness, maybe it's sad, happy. Like, it kind of depends on your path and what you're needing for this grand trine. So a grand trine, you don't have to think about it, you don't have to work for it, it just shows up, right? Okay, so we've got that going on. And then I will mention that you have Mars trining. So you have Mercury and Sun in June together. They're conjunct. And then you have Mars trining there. So Mars has gone back into Aquarius. It'll go retrograde on the 26th of June. And for about 5 months now, we're going to be working hard on what's going on. So this being your ninth house, the ninth house doesn't just have to do with your belief system and stuff like that. And in the extended video, I'm going to go over what the ninth house is, because it's going to be so important for you that I'm going to tell you a lot of things about what the ninth house is, because it does, it has to do with residence and real estate and stuff like that. So then you have your eighth house that's being lit up. This is other people's money, but this is also where you understand your power and take your power back, right? And so you've had Saturn in here working really hard. Retrograde, you've had Pluto in here. Pluto is the sort of that underlying... I think Geminis feel Pluto a lot because you can feel, you're very sensitive to energy. And so even though Pluto is like that planet where people feel like they don't feel it, I think you can feel it more than others. And so Pluto will bring these things up that need to be brought up for transformation, right? And this is already in your eighth house of transformation. So there's transformation going on about, depending on your life. So you could be focused on, am I trying to get a grant? Am I trying to get a loan? Am I trying to combine my money with my partner? Am I trying to figure out, where my boundaries are, what my power is? Like that could be going on. And Pluto will bring these things up. If you had been doing in the past things that you don't want to do anymore, but you kind of have a habit of doing, Pluto's going to bring that up, and he's going to basically drop a bomb so that you can transform this stuff, right? So on the first, you have the moon here. So the moon is pretty close to Pluto, but these retrogrades and Saturn, we know Saturn's got your hopes and your dreams, and you just have to keep your eye on the prize and keep working. He wants structure. He wants you to structure this. He wants foundation. So I'll tell you this, Jimmy's, when I'm looking at your chart, this general chart, when I'm looking at the general chart for Gemini, what I'm seeing is that in the past, you can and have had where the foundation was built by someone else in your life. And now you have been working on these last 4 years, 8 years for some of you, 7 years, 6 years, 5 years, some of you 2, it just kind of depends on your path. But this is about you building your solid foundation, right? Your solid foundation. And I'm not saying that you didn't build a solid foundation with that person. I'm saying that person or that situation, that relationship caused you to build with them. You're trying to do this where you have your own solid foundation so that if something happens, or so that you don't have a partner, this isn't for everybody, but so that you're not wanting a partner, having a partner in your life because you need them. It's because you want them. So you have your own foundation. This is this long-term, this is Saturn, long-term foundation that you're trying to build in your life, right? And so you've been working really, really hard in that. But with this Grand Trine, they can bring you money. It can be physical, but it's going to be felt emotionally, right? Okay, so that's all I'll say about that on the 13th. Let's look at the 13th. So the 13th, guess what? The new moon is in your sign. So you have the new moon in your sign. And again, this is for sun, moon, and ascending or rising, right? So if your sun is Gemini, then you look at it from your sun. If your moon is Gemini, then you look at it from your moon point of view. If your ascending or rising is Gemini, then you look at it from your ascending or rising. Ascending and rising is your life path. It's like it's not like the other ones aren't, but your sun is your conscious awareness of what's going on. Your moon is your reaction and your emotional connection to this world and what's going on. And then your ascending is basically who you are in this physical self. And so you have these things come on your path from your ascendant, right? So that's why I like to work with the ascendant, but I work with all of them. So your new moons are about new beginnings. They're about manifestation. So you take the new moon energy and you look at what you're going to do in the next 30 days and you sort of manifest that or try to manifest that. And so I have 2 videos, one about the full moon and one about the new moon and how to use those energies to manifest or let go. It kind of depends on, so the new moon's about manifesting, the full moon's about letting go of what no longer serves you, and completions. Okay, so you have the new moon in your sign. This is new beginnings for you. I know that a lot of you have been working really hard. Maybe you started working really hard on something and then you felt like you got pulled away to other things, and then you start feeling a little guilty about, well, not doing this, and you kind of know what to do, but you're like, how do I even start it? And then you get in your head, and then it's like back and forth, right? And you have Mars here. So Mars is really going to make you work for it. Saturn, Pluto, Mars, really going to make you work for it. All these retrogrades, see all these in red? These are retrogrades. All these retrogrades are about amending, revising, editing, completing something. So not everything that needs to be revised. Sometimes you revise it and then it ends, or sometimes you look at it and it ends, or you complete it, you're done, right? So with it opposing here, this is like on the 13th, you have the new moon here, which is going to feel kind of off because you have this quincunx here, right? And this is probably what you've been feeling, Gemini. You're like, I got to do this and do this and do this, and I'm doing this, and then like it gets overwhelming and you feel kind of off, and you're like, well, I don't know, and you're not doing some of it, right? And then you may feel guilty, or you're like, never mind. So that's this quincunx, this one and this one. It makes you feel off. It makes the energy feel kind of off, like I can't grasp it, or I can't get to it, or can't, like it's just off. That's the best way I can explain it. Okay, so you have Mars opposing your North Node, which is in your third house. So the North Node in your third house, I haven't spoken too much about North Nodes. The North Node is like almost your life purpose, and that thing that you're really coming here to do. And I'm talking about in your natal. But what can happen with the North Node is that you get obsessed. You can get really obsessed. And so with this retrograde here in your third house, maybe you've had to redo some things. Maybe you've had to amend. Maybe you've had to reorganize. Maybe you've had to, like, depends on, like, if you're in the entertainment business or blogging or media or beauty or any of that, like, that is the third house. So, you could, with this opposition, it's like Mars is going to really make you work for this. Really. And let me tell you this, you're not going to get any, like, with this stuff that you're really, really working on, you're going to feel like it's not going anywhere, and it's not going to go anywhere, or you're going to feel that way for a while. And I would say probably in September, October is when you're going to see the results of it. But this is, listen, there's a master plan involved here. This is about all this stuff becoming a habit for you, because again, you're trying to build that solid foundation, and Saturn is like, I have your dreams, I have your hopes here, we can make them reality, you can make them reality, but you're going to work, and you're going to not just make them reality where they can go away, but you're going to make them reality where they can stay long term, right? This is going to be structured. So this is what this is about too. Okay? So, and again, this is because, and I know everybody, like a 20-year-old, 20 years, 20, the generation in 20s is different than the 30s and the 40s and the 50s Geminis. But this is about building your solid foundation for you, right? And it's a long-term structured solid foundation. This one's not going to crumble. You've made it where this is not going to crumble. But in order for it to not to crumble, you have got to make it solid. And that means trust and focus and be your cheerleader. Trust you. Okay? This is the thing, Gem. You are so good at being everybody's cheerleader. Like your best friends, your lovers, your partners, your family, you know how to cheer them on and never let up. Like you will help them believe what they can achieve, right? That's who you are. But when it comes to you, it's like you don't cheer yourself on. Like you should give yourself that honor and that respect and that love. So this is what Spirit's asking. Cheer yourself on. Don't let up for yourself. Like do this for you. Like be the cheerleader for you that you are to everybody else. You can do this. Okay. So this is what this was the 13th, but the 12th, the sun, let me look. I'm sorry. Hold on. Yeah. Sorry. No, it was the 13th. The 14th, sorry about that. I started channeling and then I forgot. Okay, so on the 14th, you can see that Mercury's entered Cancer, which is going to be a very sensitive time. This is in your second house. This is opposing Saturn. This is why they had me say this. It's opposing Saturn, which means Mercury is really opposing Saturn. So this is your eighth house. There's a conversation. There's something that needs to be done for your self-worth, for your finances, for your investments, for your resources, right? So something needs to be said, something needs to be done. Um, Saturn is used to being far away and working with planets. So even though this is an opposition, he's not going to let up. He's just not going to let up. And so with Mercury bringing a message to your second house, it's going to be sensitive material. It's going to be sensitive, and either the way that you deliver the message is going to be sensitive and somebody's going to take it wrong, or the way that somebody delivers the message to you, it's going to be sensitive and could be taken wrong. So just remember, like on the 12th, 13th, 14th, even past that, probably, I think it's like the 20th, 25th, just be aware if it has to do with finances, if it has to do with your resources, if it has to do with other people's money, if it has to do with the court system, if it has to do with any of that. Take a deep breath when somebody says something, because it could just be that this is this opposition. Now, hold your ground, stay and hold your boundaries, and don't let people take over you, and don't let people do things to you that you're not going to allow or you don't want, right? So hold your boundaries. But if it's not important at the time and you can take a breath and come back to it later, then do that, okay? Because Cancer is very sensitive. Capricorn can be sensitive, and you have these two opposing, okay? Now, on the 14th, Venus enters Leo. So Venus is going to, Venus is conjunct here to your North Node. So whatever it is that you've been working on and continue to work on, you may feel like an adjustment, like something little may come through with love, luck, and money having to do with your third house of entertainment, of, again, media, of writing, blogging, vlogging. If you're an actor, if you're a musician, any of that you do with people in communicating to the world. That looks like Venus will bring something through, but it could be so that you can adjust, right? It's like, don't rest on your laurels yet, because you have a long 5 months to go. Okay? So that happens on the 14th, but it's going to feel lighter. You're going to feel like Venus is feeling, because Venus in Cancer behaves very differently than Venus in Leo. Venus in Leo, it's lighter, it's fun, it's laughter, it's like better, right? Well, it's not better. It's just lighter fun and a lot of laughter, right? And a lot of passion. Where in Cancer, it can be passionate, but it's a little deeper, it's slower, it's sensitive, right? You have to be really, really aware. So that happens on the 14th. Then we have on the 18th. This is important because I'm feeling this for some people. Now, I don't want to get your hopes up for a lot of people, because I'd have to look at your chart. But when I'm seeing this trine again for some of you, if you're in the entertainment industry, if you're like a public figure, if you're I don't know, an actor, musician, it doesn't even have to be that. Like, if you're wherever you're at, if it has to do with the public or other people like this, I kind of feel like some of you are going to get to that next level, because Neptune is retrograding here. So if some of you are trying to get to the spotlight, if some of you are trying to, and not because you want the spotlight, because trust me, gems don't really want spotlight. It's not because, but you understand that it's part of what you want to do. It's like, I want to be a singer, but to be a singer, I have to do it in front of people, right? And so you have to like get through that. So this trine, again, this grand trine, has to do with a message coming through. And this is when Neptune retrogrades. I feel like retrograde again, amending, revising, editing, and completion. So some of you, if you've been working really hard on this, you could get that contract, you could get that position, you could get that sponsor, you could get that person coming to you and putting you on a TV show, or you get that tour that you want, or like, I don't know, I'm seeing that too. And again, that's not for everybody, but understand that some people are going to get this. So, and it has to do with your value. It has to do with if something that you've been working on very hard. And I will say this for you, it's a grand trine. So you don't have to work hard on it. You don't have to like even look at it. You don't have to put energy into it. But you guys are sensitive to energy, so you may have already been putting energy into it, and then you get this grand trine, right? So that's a misconception when I say you don't have to put energy into it. Doesn't mean that you didn't put energy into it. Just means you didn't have to. But some of you may have like, because you can feel energy, you may have like felt, okay, I need to do this and I need to do this and this is where I'm supposed to go and this is how I'm supposed to be, right, Jimmy's? Because you're extremely psychic. That's the thing. You're extremely psychic and empathic. So you may have already kind of sensed it or felt it or seen it. A lot of you saw it, and so maybe it comes through here because it has to do again with your sixth house, your 10th house, and your second house. So if there's something that you've been working on and you're sort of like, I'm doing it, but it's not coming through, and maybe you get this gift where it comes through, fame and that position and that higher thing that you're wanting. Okay, that's different for everybody. But remember, you still have these oppositions. So whatever it is you're trying to work here, it's still about revising, editing, amending, and completions, and it is an opposition, so it's going to make you work. You're gonna, with Mars, it's gonna make you like, you got to keep working at it. You got to keep working at it because it's the foundation that you're trying to get to. You're going to get to it, Gemini. These things that you see in your head aren't like, not, I hate to say fake. These things that you see in your head can become reality. They can. And you're the one to bring it to reality. You just have to stay focused. Okay? Doesn't matter what people, if they think you're crazy or whatever. Like, that doesn't matter. Stay true to your heart, stay true to your mind, and align that with your soul. And that's where you know to go. Okay? So, this will be going on for a while. And then on the 21st, so the 21st, this is going to be another sensitive time. So this month is pretty much going to be sensitive with other people. But this is going to force you to slow down, to allow yourself to rest when you need to recharge, to look at the things in front of you and be in your now, not in your now with 10 other things. Like, be focused on the one, and then the one, and then the one, and then the one, because these things, you're trying to make them a habit. Okay, and so you need to focus on these things, but that means you need to slow down, Jim. You need to take time. You need to really look at it. You need to like think before you act, and you need to rest and recharge, because it's the balance of you loving yourself and loving the world, right? And so when the sun enters Cancer, it's going to be a sensitive time. If you're flippant with somebody or somebody's flippant with you, take a breath. Like, seriously, take a breath, because this is the thing, Gem, especially Gemini. If somebody says something and it makes you mad and you flip, oh my gosh, like, you can put somebody in a corner crying, okay? And you don't want to do that. Just know that you can. We all know you can, but you don't want to. Just don't do it, okay? Because that's like other old energy that you don't even need anymore, okay? You're better, you're bigger, you're more expanded. I'm not saying that you're not human and won't make mistakes, because we all do. But think about it. Just think about it, okay? So when the sun enters Cancer, it is going to be in your second house. It is going to be with Mercury. And it is going to be bringing messages about your self-worth, about your resources, about your money, okay? So the sun always wants to bring clarity. But again, this isn't a fast-paced month for you. This is a slower, you need to slow it down. Okay, you're gonna need to slow it down for the month, for the pretty much the summer, but this is like the beginning of that, where it's like, okay, let me slow down, let me think about this stuff, let me really get into it, and let me really focus on what I'm gonna do first, right? Okay, so again, I'll go into a lot of the other aspects in that extended video, but on the 23rd, yeah, I think it's the 23rd. So here we go on the 23rd. The sun is conjunct Uranus. So the sun is conjunct Uranus. That Uranus is in your 12th house, right? So something could come through, an opportunity. I said conjunct, I'm sorry. It's sextile Uranus, okay? So the sun is sextile Uranus. So this is opportunity being brought to you. Something could be completed, something could be given to you, something could change your life. It could. I'm seeing this for a lot of people, and it doesn't mean that it'll happen for everybody in June, but I'm seeing June, July, August, September, October. Like, that's what I'm seeing. Like, maybe the first gems are going to be in June, and then the middle gems are going to be in June, July, and then the other gems are going to be July, July, and then August, and then it kind of depends. But I'm seeing this prominently. This sextile, this is something being cleared up, and this is something. Remember, Uranus likes to shock and awe. Uranus likes to shock and awe to liberate you, so that you can be free, so that you can feel better, so that you can feel like you're on your path and be doing your path, right? But there are some changes that you need to do, and Uranus will change that if you don't change it, right? So again, don't forget about this opposition. It's going to be going on for a while with this North Node. Okay, so just be aware of that. On the 26th is when Mercury actually retrogrades, and I won't go too much about retrograde. There's plenty of astrologers on YouTube that have the Mars retrograde stuff, and you can like go look at them because they're really good. So we have a lot of great astrologers on YouTube. So I would go look at them if you want to know more about what Mars retrograde is, but I will do more of it in my extended video. So Mars goes retrograde. It's going to be, again, for about 5 months. You're going to feel like you're having to push. You're going to feel like you're having to like really stay focused and really slow down and really, really like push against that energy. And again, Gemini, you can feel energy like really, really, you're really sensitive to energy. So I feel like this is going to be like that push where you're like, oh my God, why can't I just get through it? And you're going to be fighting with yourself. Get out of your head. I'm going to tell you what I tell the Aquarians. Get out of your head and just do it. Get out of your head and just do it. You've thought enough about it. You know what you're going to do. You may not know how you're going to do it, but hey, that's life. And that's the beauty of life and creation, right? So understand, all Geminis, I want you to hear this, because I have one-on-one consults with Geminis. I have readings with Geminis, and I'm hearing the same thing. You're so afraid of failing that you won't even try. You get in your head and you're like, okay, I'll try it later. Okay, I'll do it later. Oh my God, why can't I do it? Like, right? I want you to understand this. If you haven't heard anything else, understand this. You are going to fail. We all are going to fail. Failure is part of becoming the master. It is imperative that you fail. If you don't fail, then if somebody tells me that they're the master of something and they haven't failed, I'm a little leery, and I'm thinking, well, you're not going to be the master for long because you haven't learned the lessons. Does that make sense? You're going to fail. We all fail. It's what you do after that failure that makes you the master. Okay? So allow yourself to fail so that you can move through this. Because I'm telling you that Mars energy is going to be messing with you. So on the 28th, and it's going to be in your 9th house. And again, I'm going to do that extended video where I'm going to show you, because it has the 9th house has a lot of things in it. Okay, so on the 28th, we have the full moon in Capricorn. So we have the full moon in Capricorn. It is between Saturn and Pluto. And this is in your 8th house of other people's money. So you're going to be letting go of something, letting go of what no longer serves you. Something's going to be completed. And this energy you'll feel for like 2 weeks, maybe even 3, some of you. But whatever's going on with this situation and this situation, something's going to be completed, something's going to be adjusted, something's going to be let go. Okay? So, and it's in a very Capricorn way, which means it's methodical, it's been thought of, it's not just going to be taken from you. You're going to have thought about this. And you're going to understand your power. This is very powerful for you, okay? Because this is going to help you move to this next level. All right. It also has to do because of this Chiron here, right? So this Chiron here is T-squaring this opposition. So this has to do with old wounds. This has to do with other people, because this is your 11th house. Your 11th house of gains and other people and social networking and your groups and all of that. So maybe some clarity comes. Or maybe it's like, I'm always so good to people, and I'm just giving you a scenario. I'm always so good to people, and I always end up getting crapped on, right? And so maybe this is like that wounded healer kind of thing, right? If you don't know about Chiron and how it works, I have a video on, and I'll put it in the link down below or on the side of the video here. And you can learn how to work with that Chiron energy and understand it so that you can grow through it. So, pardon me, my voice is going already. Then on the 29th, Mercury enters Leo. That sensitive time is over. Not completely, but you're going to feel better when Mercury enters Leo, because Mercury in Cancer is just a little too sensitive for you. But Mercury in Leo is going to feel better. It's going to feel lighter. You have Venus in there. You have your North Node in there. But when it gets closer here, it's already conjunct, but the closer it gets, it's bringing a message to that North Node. It's bringing a message to this house. So this is where you could feel like maybe you got something here. Maybe you get like the contract here. I'm just going to say this. Maybe you get a contract here. And then all of a sudden you feel like what they said what they said verbally was not in the contract, and so you got to go back and say, no, I'm going to put my foot down. This is the way it's going to be. I understand your part, but this is my part, and I can't negotiate this part. This is a no negotiation part. And so maybe you have to work on that with this Venus. And then when Mercury comes in, maybe that's when you actually sign it. Maybe that's when it actually goes through, right? But it could wait because of this Mars here. Okay, so it kind of depends. All right, so let's talk about your tarot. Sorry about that. Let me move this. Oops. I thought I had it. There you go. Okay. So, this is your first position, Jimmy, in June. So you have the Judgment. This is about you making a decision. So in the month of June, it looks like making the decisions you want to. And I'm not going to say right or wrong, because some of you can get so caught up in, is it the right thing to do? Is it right for me? Is it right? Is it right or is it wrong? Is it right? Is it wrong? It's more than that, right? This is about you loving you. This is about you creating your world. This is about you creating the stability and the security around you for you. Okay, so there are going to be some things, whether it's in love, whether it's in business, whether it's with family, whatever this is, it looks like you have some decisions to make about this. And these are a long time coming, I feel, for some of you. I feel like some of you have decided to look the other way or wait till it's right in your face. Well, it's coming right to your face for some of you, okay? This isn't anything new. And if it is and you didn't see it because you were off doing your work and you didn't see this coming, trust me, you're going to know what to do. And so stay out of your head. Not completely, you know what I mean. Stay out of your head and take the action, and don't get stuck in the middle, because Gemini, you do not feel good when you don't make a decision. That's where you get really anxious, where you get anxiety, right? So just make the decision, make the choice, and take the action, okay? So this is your challenge, the second position. Your challenge is the structure. That's the Hierophant. That's Saturn. That's Capricorn. That's the Hierophant, right? And so this is about organization. This is about a structure. And this is your challenge. Your challenge is, for some of you, it is about, am I going to go with this job with this bigger organization? What am I going to do? That's part of your Judgment card. That's part of this. For others of you, and this is the thing Spirit just said, you already know the answer. You already know the answer. You just have to make the choice. Okay? So, because again, they're saying you're sensitive, you're psychic, you know. So, some of you, your challenge is to even go back into an organization or back to a structured place. Or is this restructuring that I've been doing going to be enough? That's your challenge. Yeah, that's your challenge. Like, should I just go do this where I'm in the organization or I'm in the relationship, or I'm in the partnership, or should I go do this that I had started on my own, to do my own structure, to do my own organization, to do my own thing? That's your challenge, right? Again, there isn't a right or wrong. Some people will want to do it one way, and some people will want to do it another. It kind of depends on you, right? That's the beauty of coming to this world and having free will. You get to choose. You get to make it happen, right? And then you get the support of the universe and God and source and your angels and your loved ones that help guide you and support you and move energy for you. So in your third position, this is your fate and your destiny. Some of you do have somebody coming in. This is the King of Swords. So the King of Swords, and this could be a partner in relationship, love relationship. It could be a partner with business. If it is, this isn't a partner to stay. This is a partner to help you get to the next level. Okay? Because this person, this king, is a beautiful king. He's been through a lot. He's been the fool, and then he's been the wise man, and he's always been royalty. He's always had nobility, right? And so this king understands that there's a responsibility, because all of it was his to begin with anyway. And what he comes to understand is the responsibility of building. So like even having all of this and having it be his anyway, he had to go through these other losses and these other things to understand the responsibility of what was his to begin with. Does that make sense? That's for some of you. For others of you, this is you understanding that it was always yours, that you are worthy, that you are loved, and that you are love. And it was because of your path that you had to understand, with all this, being born into this, being born into nobility, being born into this, into all these things that you're going to attain, you had to understand the responsibility of that, of how to treat people, of how you wanted to be treated, of how people work and how people are. And otherwise you would have gotten your heart crushed like 100-fold had you not gone through this other stuff before you gotten this stuff. Does that make sense? So some of you are about there, becoming the king or the queen. To me, it's not gender specific. It's about the character. And so this is your destiny. This is some of you. It's like you're almost there, or you are there. It's just about the unfolding for some of you. And I know, Gemini, you want to do it fast. I know. Trust me, I'm Gemini. You want it done yesterday. But there's a reason why it hadn't been done. Like, haven't you ever looked at your life and you're like, no, I'm ready for that. I know I'm ready for that. And then that happens later and you're like, oh, thank God that didn't happen before, because I wasn't ready for that. Right? So that's kind of where you've been, where you think you're ready and think it's time and you're feeling the energy, but then it doesn't come. And that's because you're going to a solid, stable, secure foundation, right? That's where you're going. Long-term structure. This is tradition. This is generation. This is structure. This is like that old organization that doesn't matter, like the government. Like, it doesn't matter what you do, you can't get rid of them, right? That's where you're headed. That's what you're going to become. That's what you're becoming. You're already becoming it, right? So in your fourth position, this is your overall outcome of what you'll be working through in the month of May. The Fool, you guys know I love the Fool. He's 0 point energy. There is so much energy in 0 point energy. And if you think about it, he adds to each of these cards. He adds to this decision. He adds to this Hierophant. He adds to this King. So he goes in with his journey in this childlike manner, which Gemini, you know how to be, in this anticipation and excitement of, look at him, like, la la la, I'm just going to go. And whatever happens, because I trust the universe, because I'm going to be okay, because I always have been, right? And so understand that as you go with excitement, as you learn to focus, as you make that a habit, because you've already learned to focus, as you make that a habit, as you recharge, and as you love yourself, do it with childlike anticipation, because that makes it come faster and easier. Doesn't have to be that hard, Gemini. It really doesn't. So I love you, love you, love you. Have a wonderful birthday. Happy, happy birthday. And again, I'll have the extended video on my website. It'll be up here where you can see it up here or on the side here. Love you, love you, love you.